Alrighty. Welcome to Aigis, the first mission. I am Mol and I'm just gonna start this right away because we have a intro with pretty much nothing going on. So 3, 2, 1 and go. Alright, Aigis, the first mission. If you haven't heard of this game, it is a Persona 3 prequel taking place 10 years before the events of the actual game, and it kind of tells the story about how Aigis got to be some of her first missions in the game. The game is called First Mission, but you do like 6 of them, so the title is kind of a lie, but don't worry about it. And the location for this game is the Yakushima Island, where the Persona 3 cast goes to during the summer vacation, doing their thingies. But yeah, this intro basically just tells about the island and what it's like, how nice it is. Year 1999, May. There's the box where Aigis was shipped in. Yes, this is a mobile game released for the Japanese phones back in 2007. And last year, Gmode re-released it on modern platforms. Then we saw some characters. This character right here is kind of leader of the lab research. And we saw younger Mitsuru being talked to on the phone or something. I don't know how it works. I just say do not ask too detailed aspects of the plot, because I do not read Japanese. I have only read the plot summary on Megaten Wiki. And I barely even remember that, probably. Alright, first things first, we have some tutorials to do. So we're just gonna run to the training area. Also, I guess a word of warning, this game runs at a low, and I mean low, frame rate. So, if that causes you headaches, I am sorry. But you know, old phones could only do so much. Here we have the dialogue trap. If you just turbo, you'll get stuck in an endless loop. Gotta take those 3 first and then pick the 4th. And now we get to the tutorials, which explain the basic moves of the game. This is our basic attack. Aigis shoots her finger guns. Doesn't have that good of a range now. Persona is already unlocked, even though the game hasn't told you that. And I believe the locations these things fall is just completely random, so just hope you get some good RNG in the tutorial. Alright, stage 1 complete. Coming up is stage 2, which basically just tells, yes, these briefcases are items you can pick up. Although majority of the ones in the tutorial are empty, just like that. Want some medicine, I believe, and the places these fall is also random, just hope that they fall close to it together. Nothing, medicine. Oh, 3 of them. Oh, they're both on top of the boxes. But yeah, the purpose of the first mission is to just get yourself to get accustomed to the controls. That stack of 3 boxes basically forces you to do double jump, so you learn how to do it. Here we have a new type of enemy, quote-unquote, that can only be damaged by our persona. As you can see, regular attacks do nothing. And persona use is limited by the SP bar to the bottom right. It slowly fills up. Once it's full, you can use your skill. Right now, Aigis' persona Palladion only has one skill, and it's Kill Rush. Just goes in a straight line and deals damage to everything it comes across. And now stage 4 is just another... destroy the targets within the time limit. And unfortunate that it spawned up there right away. Usually if you end this on something like 35 remaining on the clock, you did well enough. Alrighty. Was that it for this wave? No, this one still remains. Oh, that is a nice lineup right there. Man, the killers could do lots of damage at once. Okay, that was 48 remaining. Maybe I was just bad before. Alright, so that is the 4 tutorials done, but now our training guy is nowhere to be seen, and wowee, shadows. Now, allegedly, these are just the training shadows created by the lab. Again, I only know the Megathin wiki plot summary. Basic strat is to just try, group them together and kill rush. And then we got our first level up, and you see our damage more than doubled. So let's just say our levels are really important, because you can actually do 0 damage in this game. It is a Persona 3 game, you cannot escape the grind. Here's the researcher. I believe her name was like something, I already forgot. I read the summary this morning, okay? Anyway, that was mission 1. Now begins day 2 and mission 2. We can almost play the game. But first gotta talk to everyone. And we have 2 new characters. We have this researcher who basically is the shop in this game. And then we have Eiichiro Takeba for some reason. Just to tie it back to the main Persona 3 game. Eiichiro Takeba being Yukari's father, for those who may have forgotten. Here we have another dialogue trap that you can get in if you just turbo. I'm being rather careful here. Isn't that a nice model of Palladion? I guess here they explain poison. It just deals damage over time. Ideally, we'd never get poisoned, but even if we do, it's not a big deal. Alright, time to play the game. A short intro for a Persona game. So mission 2 takes place mainly in this forest. This is kind of the main area of the game, to be honest. We'll be going through here a lot. So the goal right now is just fight stuff on the way so that we can gain those levels and actually deal any damage. And if we just run past everything, or fighting everything on the way, we still do not get enough experience. We still need to actually do some grinding at specific spots of the game. That gives us level 3, and now we can fight the cupids up here a little bit more efficiently. Isn't this guy low health? Yeah, I was gonna say. This is another part of this mission. We just picked up a passcode. We need to collect 3 of those to open this gate right here. Aigis' idea is to just shoot down the gate, but that idea is denied, unfortunately. They tell us to collect the 3 passcodes. Two of them are in this forest, but the last one is a little bit more out of the way, back in the tutorials area. The goal of the enemy killing right now is to get level 4. We don't care about this item right here. I believe it is a item that cures poison. Not something we really care about. Okay, we should be hitting a level 4 in this screen after a couple of these cupids. That I unfortunately cannot see because of this tree in the middle. Alright, here we go. This game takes place 10 years before the Persona 3 game. In May 1999, and the main Persona 3 is 2009. Here's the second passcode, and earlier we picked up a trash gem, so we can go back to the lab immediately. Now the final passcode does not spawn before we go back to the lab, get a scene with this professor, or researcher. I don't know, she might be a professor as well. But yeah, we gotta talk to the training dude. That is his name. You cannot convince me otherwise. But yeah, doing this spawns the final passcode, and it is back in this training hall. Right there, got all 3, and now we can go back at the gate. I don't believe they came up with the labyrinth at this point. Maybe you'll see her in the Persona 4 arena run later on in the marathon. But yeah, now that we're level 4, these earlier Mayas just get absolutely destroyed. The game does have experience scaling, so you can't just stay at one spot and grind forever. You will eventually get no experience. but you do still get money for every enemy you defeat, and we do need a good amount of money in the game because that is how we upgrade our weapons and armors. Alright, now we're past the gate. And this cedar tree is a major area in the game. We see it a lot. Keep that in mind. I don't know what the code actually is, or if it even says what it is. Anyway, now we have these tiaras or books. I don't remember what the shadow type is called. It's been a while since I actually played a Persona game other than this. But they are new enemy, and that means good experience. Even though they do take a while to defeat. Now going to the northern area here is a key that we need to progress. A lot of this game is running around areas and collecting keys wherever you can. Alright, this is our first actual proper grind spot in the game. We're gonna defeat these 5 enemies 3 times. And as you've already seen, one way to respawn the enemies is to go to a new screen and return to the previous one. That will always respawn the enemies. But that can be rather slow, so the faster way is to just save, go to the title screen, and they're back. And you can save whenever you want, I mean. I think there's some limitations to it, like in bosses, but that is not relevant to the run. Alright, one more set and then we're moving on. The main boss of Mission 2 is pretty close now, and we want to hit the level 6 for it. Now we could have gone to it at level 4. We do no damage if I remember correctly. And at level 5 we do a little bit of damage, but not a lot. So it is actually better to just grind the level and defeat it at level 6. You're higher leveled, it's faster, you have more resources. Yeah, it is that kind of game. Hope you like grinding. Casually, you don't really need to grind because you're running around a lot more and defeating everything on the way anyway. But when you know where to go, what to do, you'll run into situations where you just have to sit still and grind a little bit. There we go, got our level 6. And here we have the first proper boss of the game. Aigis searches around. And it's a giant bird. And our strategy for this is fire and preferably do not get hit. Of course, the first thing I did in the fight was get hit. The boss does have another phase. On phase 2 it kinda starts shooting the orbs in this pattern. honestly easier to dodge them like this than first phase. And it's over. Now I am using turbo in this game because fire, you have to press a button, and if you don't turbo, it is a lot of mashing for about 2 hours. And I like my arms. I'd like to keep them. So I'm just opting to use turbo. And mission 2 is basically over. This is the final scene in it. I have no idea what they're talking about, but here we have a red shadow. Those familiar with Persona 3 know that those are supposed to be tough guys. Here we have this intense battle and the bridge collapses. Which leads us to day 3 and mission 3. Aigis is fine. She's not fine. This is a character exclusive to this game. I don't know his name, but he is important to the plot. Now we are in this rocky area, and for some reason this researcher is also here. I don't know, maybe she's looking for Aigis, or just doing her thing. Who knows? Okay, so at the start of this mission, we don't actually have any means to attack. I don't know if we have lost our finger guns or we don't have permission to use them. We cannot use Persona either. So we just gotta collect stuff while avoiding enemies. That was a really difficult set of enemies to avoid. No clue what that item is, but it is necessary. Just trust me. But yeah, the beginning of this mission is kind of a lot of running back and forth. Might as well have Aigis do some sick flips. Yeah, we collect whatever that item is. Go back to her. The mission begins proper, but we still do not have access to our weapons. Because this time we gotta go northwest instead of southwest. This time the enemies are a little bit more aggressive, but the only place we have to go to is this gate. And now we run back to the researcher again. I don't know what that text box was, but I'm sure it's important. But we need a key for the gate, and for some reason this kid has it. Alright. Now we actually have access to our weapons, but we actually want to change our weapon to the third one there. Buy an item, trash to gem. Our trash to usage does not actually move us to the lab, it moves us back to those rocks. The devs actually thought of that, but yeah, this is our new weapon, kind of Aigis punches. It looks like a drill later, so I just call it a drill. It does more damage, but has like no range, but it is still more better than using the spread shot. And right now the goal is to just kind of try and meet up with the main researcher again, going back to the lab. So that is where we're headed right now. But those that paid attention probably realized that, hey, the bridge is broken still. So that's gonna cause an issue. And again, fighting enemies because there's just no way around it. What we picked up from that briefcase was a shoe upgrade. I wondered a long time what they do, and I still have no idea. So generally I don't pick them up if they're out of the way. But I wanted to respawn the enemies there anyway, and it's right there, so I took it. Like, picking them up doesn't increase your damage. Doesn't really decrease the damage you take either. Doesn't seem to affect SP recovery, so who knows what they do. Ow. But yeah, here's our first case of no damage taken. Well, no damage dealt, more like 0 damage. Let's not die here, okay? I'm not worried about my health, because after this cutscene we're gonna use a Trasto gem, and it takes us back to the hub for this mission, and that fully heals us. Bridge is broken. And now we gotta find an alternate path back to the lab. How is this researcher here? Do not ask. Do not diss the jumping animation, it's great. Just look at it. So we're just about to get level 8, there we go, and every 8 levels until level 24, Palladion learns a new skill. Right there we just got the Posumudi, so... and unfortunately not gonna be using it. Or if I do, then something's gone wrong. But before moving on from this, we want to hit the level 9. So we can actually damage enemies coming up. So what we're just doing is killing these 5 enemies, saving and quitting, and repeating the process. Now if you save and quit where an enemy would normally spawn, it just doesn't spawn the enemies, so you see me running to some area where there are no enemies normally. Alright, we got the level 9. Moving on. We entered this tree, which connects to the other side of the bridge. But first we gotta get through this dungeon. Those balances, they can only be damaged by personas, and it would take quite a while to actually beat them, so I'm ignoring them for now. And I want the level 10 out of these guys. So that then we can actually fight those relics that you can see in the background there. Because they actually give a good experience. And again, we have a level requirement for the boss as well, so gotta get the XP somehow. Might be done with this set. Alright. Now these things are also only persona damageable. But it is worth killing them, because now they take 2 attacks, but eventually they'll take 1. The balances don't give that good XP, so generally not gonna bother with them. Unless they're kinda grouped with the tiaras. I might get this one. Does agility play a factor? I don't think it does. But yeah, what you see the balance doing is a poison cloud. If you hit it, you get poisoned. Right, a new goal. Get to level 12 from these guys. Preferably without dying. Sometimes it's kinda hard to dodge the enemies. I kinda screwed that up there. Oh, no. Alright. Rise is averted. Every time you level, you get a full heal, so that is a saving grace sometimes, but yeah, as you can see now, the relics are one-shot. And if you do die, you do get sent to the title screen unless you were fighting a boss. Needless to say, less than ideal. Dying, that is. Alright, now we want to level 12 with a certain amount of money so we can upgrade our weapon again. Alright, level 12. Is money alright? I think it is. Alright, this next boss is... it is 4 of the relics and a fire wheel. The basic plan is to defeat the relics with the persona while trying to get some chip damage on the fire wheel at the same time. And the fire hurts. So thankfully there's a obvious tell when it's about to do it. It does that little flash. The relics take 2 uses of persona each and easy tell, I say, as I get hit by the fire. Almost I did again. Yeah, anyway, now this one's easy. But yeah, as you can see, even at level 12 it's quite tanky. Alright, that is second boss and the second mission basically done. Not second mission, that was mission 3. SMT runners, we cannot count. Okay, day 4 actually doesn't have the save and quit the EXP farming, so that is nice for this mission. But what we want is not to talk to him, but upgrade our weapon again. We buy that rank. We don't bother with the second weapon, it is basically a grenade launcher, but from my testing it doesn't really do that good of a damage. But yeah, day 4 means new background music for this area. Variety. And yet the enemies are also new. I believe plot-wise, these are no longer training shadows, but like actual shadows. I'm actually going to save just in case I do die, but shouldn't happen because we actually get sent back to the lab pretty soon. Right now we're chasing after some kind of life form that was detected, I think. And now bridge is broken over here, and we can head south instead. Turns out the life form is a monkey. And here we have a somewhat of a mini boss. It's just 4 of these shadows. As you can see, it was over pretty quickly. Amazing jumping animation for the monkey. Now the monkey goes east, but we're gonna go north. Doesn't really matter which path you take. If I remember correctly, they're still about the same length anyway. But we want to go this way after, and might as well go here now as well then. Also, this path has a free trust gem. Unfortunately, our monkey friend got turned into that weird thing. I believe the plot right now is something about life forms mutating into shadows or something like that. No need to talk to any of them, we can just go back to the area we just were. The game is very good at reusing areas, okay? They did not have much space to work with. We should be hitting level 14 soon. There we go. And now that we've hit 14, we can actually fight these sigils somewhat quickly. They really emphasize how important this tree is. Keep a mental note about the tree. It might be important. Now we have our first instance of magical Magus, another enemy that can only be hit by persona skills. But it does give good experience, so it is absolutely worth it. So in rooms like this, basically, the strat is to just get the persona attack done as fast as possible, so that the SP can start recharging. And then attack again. So I'm not sure why we are even in the forest right now, but what the game wants you to do is talk to this new character over here. And she's going to boss us around doing missions for her. She wasn't important enough to get a portrait. I believe the summary said we're taking pictures or something for her. But yeah, first we want to go to the falls. Yeah, first one is here of the waterfall. Next we tries to gem. And guess we are going back to the tree. Yes, this is the flip phone game from 2007. Kinda thought to be lost to time until Gmode re-released it last year. Now they're on the rock. That's why they're so high. And difficult to hit. Now we're doing something revolutionary and going behind the tree. Anyway, we have what the girl wanted. So now gotta run back to her. And this is part of the reason why we don't need to do any save and quit farming, because the game makes you run around anyway. Alright, level 16, and there we learned a new skill. I don't know what it is called, but it stuns enemies and lowers their defense for a while. Quite useful. Quite useful indeed. Yeah, she gives us a ton of stuff. Alongside the key to the gate that we need to open. And the gate is on the other side of these falls. I'd rather not have gotten it, but it's fine. Haven't saved for a while, so just a safety save. And I ignore the dice because they actually have a ton of health. Oh, those lions aren't supposed to be blue, they're supposed to be red. Okay, game. Yeah, they're blue. I don't know why. They just chose to use a different color palette for some reason. Oh, the fire breath. The tracking on them is quite insane. And they deal a lot of damage. Now we have found the beach. Might be the same one that they visit in Persona 3, not quite sure. But I wouldn't be surprised if it was the same. So now we choose to wait here for reasons unknown. And we have our next boss battle. And it is just a lots of enemies battle. Please die. Alright, got a level. They take quite a while to spawn, so we can just wait by their spawn points and boom, they're done before they can even do anything. The fight is divided into 4 phases. They don't really differ that much. First few spawn lions, well, these wheel enemies. Third one spawns dice, and the final 4th phase spawns both. Weepy! Oh yeah, we just chill. And yeah, it's also easy experience because each enemy we defeat does give experience. Now for the final wave, they kinda spawn a lot at once, but it's no issue. You can just use Persona and boom, the lions are done. And the dice are done too. And now we take the shortcut back to the lab. Aigis is gonna run fast. Yeah, that was day 4. Now we don't have the money to upgrade our weapon, so what we're gonna do instead is upgrade our armor. means we take a little bit less damage. Boom. Yes, by that. So mission 5 is basically just go to a dungeon and clear the dungeon. Did you see how fast she ran? She left smoke trails behind. But yeah, anyway, the dungeon is behind the waterfall. Because of course there's something behind the waterfall. Video games 101. Unfortunately, this is the faster path to it, and it still takes a while. Right, second proper dungeon in the game. This one's a little bit longer already. These things you saw right there, they are elevators. We won't be making use of any of them. They're more of a means to get back to the areas faster. But if you just follow the dungeon, you don't have to do it. It is just for backtracking. Again, defeating everything on the way, but unfortunately that is not even close enough to actually beating the boss relatively quickly and getting enough money for the upgrades. So unfortunately there's going to be a bit of a longer grind at the end of the dungeon. Only doing 7 damage, but defeating these is absolutely worth it. Because I should be right about the level and then can defeat them much faster. Right now the goal in the dungeon is to collect the 3 keys and open the gate, but it's been pretty straightforward and at this point you haven't actually been able to miss any of them. Now we go level 20. And damage went from 7 to 19. More than doubled. Don't know what hit me there, but okay, game. I believe you. That is scary stuff. Anyway, that is the first key. That is so many attacks on the screen. Game, show some mercy, please. Hello. Game does get kinda ruthless with the number of attacks you have to dodge. Anyway, the second key is over here to the room in the west. If I can grab it. Or maybe I just wanted to spin for no reason. Again, Aigis in the room, so just try to use the persona skill as soon as possible. But yeah, that's the door that requires 3 keys, and the last one is over here. Oh, I missed that pretty badly. It's fine. $22, even better than 21. Oh, jeez. By the end of the dungeon, we want to be level 25. So, hey, these lions are properly colored. They're not rebelling. I'm not sure if I pointed it out earlier, but the killers can actually be used to destroy enemy projectiles as well. So it kinda is also a defensive move. Like, see those fire breaths, they just got nullified right there. And now we want to switch to the third skill for the lowering of the defenses effect. And just gonna run straight to the grind spot. Also save before it in case I die. Getting to the spot. Yeah, in this room, you're gonna grind for a while. Ow. And when the SP has recovered, I'm just gonna go to this spot, use this spell immediately, and start attacking. 2 health, this is fine. See, never in doubt. So yeah, just gonna sit here until 25. Hello, guys. Trying to fight the boss at the 23 is just straight up not reasonable. At the 24 it is kind of okay, but it takes forever. To the point where grinding to 25 is the better option anyway. Somehow I keep getting hit. No, 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 no. Well, if I die, I get to show the game over scene. Which there is none. It is just the game over, and back to the title screen you go. Like this. Thankfully, with the grind method you save all the time. So it doesn't really matter if you die. But yeah, this might be the longest grind in the game. The ones in the final mission aren't this long. Basically done with the grind anyway right now. Oh, excellent. And now it is just to pick up one key and go to the boss. We can move on. And the cheeky safety save. So the boss of this dungeon is 3 Minotaurs and a Knight. Look how menacing they are, just standing there. Yeah, the general plan is to stun them and try to hit the Minotaurs and the Knight at the same time. Because the Knight is much more tankier than the Minotaurs. Okay, this was good. Nice. One of them is still alive. Yeah, the Knight is gonna shoot 3 sets of orbs. After that, you just dodge the orbs and stun it, and then do damage. If those orbs hit you, you get stunned. And then everyone's gonna have a bad time. That briefcase had another shoes upgrade. It's right on the way, so pick it up, sure. And now we end up back at the beach. But you didn't realize this was here all along when you played Persona 3? Yeah, this kid is here. Again. Don't know why. And with this scene over, it is time for the final day and final mission. You know, the lead researcher is gone and nowhere to be seen. Who knows what she's been up to? We gotta go look after her, but first, we are going to buy weapon upgrades, and we are actually reverting back to the first weapon we had, the spread shooter. Once it is fully upgraded, it actually shoots 5 bullets and does pretty good damage. And also, of course, has a wide spread. The shadows are still the same, so they just get deleted just by looking at them. Did those sigils take on the wrong color scheme as well? Why are the enemies doing that? I have no clue. But the lead researcher is by the tree. Send us back to the lab. And guess what? We gotta go back to the tree again. Now, allegedly, the lead researcher took a remote control that lets you control shadows in the nearby area. Who knows why would she do that? Maybe the game tells. So yeah, backtracking to the tree, which shockingly is the final dungeon. And welcome to Block 5 of Tartarus. The tree was a disco club all along. This dungeon is a little bit more complex. Has some more spreading pathways and some backtracking that you have to do. Oh, I should switch back to Killer Rush. Yeah, once again, picking up keys that are necessary to progress. Once again, these are elevators that you can unlock if you want to. This dungeon would actually have a use for them, but the final skill Palladion learned at level 24 is actually price though, so we can just use that instead. A real Persona game. I imagine Persona 1 wasn't real enough. Yeah, whatever this item is a set of 2, and we need both of them. The first one's right at the start of the dungeon basically, but the last one we gotta make a marathon run for it. And of course fighting everything on the way. Well, most of the things on the way. Cannot avoid it. Once again, Megasus that you need to use the Persona skill, so use that as fast as possible. Cannot open the door, but the key for it is right here. Another elevator we don't need to use. Gonna leave that one Magus alone because just waiting for the SP bar to refill twice for one enemy, not that good. Alright, in this next area we should be hitting level 28. Oh, I got poisoned. I got poisoned. I can do the mad lad thing and use Osumudi. Another safety save just because I can. And then now we have wheels that are actually supposed to be blue. And with the spread shot we can actually keep a distance from them and attack them from safety. Because they do a lot of damage. But they're also really good experience. Case in point. Look at that damage. Yes, I will heal that. Whatever was used in late 2007. That is a room we have no need to enter. No, fire breath. Stay away. Another safety save because this dungeon is scary. At the later stage. Trust me, it gets more evil. Another case of us doing 0 damage because we're just too low level. Ow! I don't even know what hit me there. Oh, my fire breath. Stay away. Gonna bait this guy to shoot that fire upwards. This one is easier to dodge, going back. I'll just wait for that fire to disappear. These items I've been picking up that aren't keys are so much. Just collecting them for emergencies. Yeah, the Minotaurs, we're not high enough leveled, we cannot even damage them. But thankfully, we are at our goal. And the otter item from the set of 2 is right here. Collect it and we try though. And this is the meat of the dungeon done. We are very much entering the final areas. Unfortunately, we gotta grind to 35. But that is done in 2 sections. First we get to 32, so we can actually damage the enemies later on. Safety save because I can. Here's a little bit of a setup to defeating the enemies. You stand around here. And then you can just defeat the wheels by just firing. And we do this until we're level 32. This doesn't take anywhere near as long as the grind in the last dungeon took, so at least that is a saving grace for this. As soon as you see the last wheel disappear, you just wanna open the menu and save. About every 3 cycles or so you can use Kill Rush. That's how long it takes for the SP bar to refill. This might be the final one. Oh, it wasn't. Whoops. Well, this one definitely is. Anyway, now we can actually damage the Minotaurs. How wild is that? It's our friend, the Red Shadow. Red Shadows are big experience in Persona 3. So chase after it. Oh, jeez. Let me just look at that fire. Now, well, I guess that Minotaur gets to live. Yep, this part is ruthless with the attacks. Oh, jeez. Once again, if those orbs hit you, they stun you, and you're not gonna like it. Alright, the next room is then second grind area. Just get up. Try to set it up without dying. No, 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 no. Alright. Setting up the third persona skill, and we're gonna do the saving and quitting to respawn enemies. Done everything that spawns and go ham. SP refills, and we repeat this until 35. This one's actually a relatively short grinding section. I guess the enemies just give so much XP. And you really want to wait until the SP is refilled before you save and quit, because the enemies are not waiting. They attack you right away. And yeah, this should be the last one. If it isn't, then I can just move on already. And defeat some enemies on the way. Oh jeez. Still don't want to take damage. As long as you see the fire, it deals damage even if the enemy doing it was already defeated. Yeah, now we're just heading for the final bosses. Could it be this red shadow? But before those, we have a teleportation puzzle. Wouldn't be a Mechaton game without one. The solution is take the furthermost door, the closest one, and then head right. Saving in case I do some spaghetti. Now what could she be doing here? now what she's done is she has kind of fused the boy we've seen throughout the run with shadows to invoke emotions in Aigis or something like that. But yeah, this big shadow speaks and calls Aigis' name, and Aigis realizes that, hey, it's the boy. And she kinda has her toaster crisis, wondering what is the best course of action here. Anyway, simple boss really. It always starts with this dash attack. We attack to weaken it until it reveals its weak point. We wanna get into a position where all of the 5 bullets hit. Just hit the weak point, and this way we can actually 2-cycle the boss. It is going to teleport somewhere again. Just hit it until the weak point is revealed. There we go, pretty fast. Get into position and start blasting. Now the boy unfuses somehow, or something. And now I have no idea what the discussion is about. But our friend Red Shadow threatens us and she sacrifices herself. It was a sick jump the Shadow did. So yes, one more enemy left in the game. Supposedly this Red Shadow is kinda the leader of the shadows going haywire, and it fuses itself with the tree or something like that. Now we have the final boss. We just want to hit the red part in the lower body, and the boss likes to turn around, making it difficult to hit it. His laser attack is the best one because we can just stand here and shoot it. Oh no, I took damage, so mighty. You can tell she's... well, you can tell that it is doing the orb attack when it moves the branches like this. And apparently it loves to spam it now. It's firing its laser. Blah. And I'll dodge the explosion. This attack, it summons enemies that we can just ignore. Oh, yep, there you see the stun effect. Ow. That's what the somas are for. I'm hitting the tower in the back. Almost done. Come on. There you go. Who's a good shadow? But yet this boss without turbo prepare to mash for a long time. Just use turbo, okay? Just do it. But yes, that is the final boss done, and now it's just the ending of the game. I don't know, they're talking about their futures or something. What they want to do now. Need to talk to these characters and then head back to the beach one last time. Also, time is coming up. Once we say to travel to the beach right here, so time. We no longer have control of the game, and it is just text. Now this game doesn't really like when it's been on for a long time. Like it tends to crash, at least for me. Doesn't happen fast enough for it to be relevant for the run, but most of the time the credits do not actually play. So let's see what happens here. Oh yeah, plot-wise something. Aigis' memory is deleted. Or something. So says Megaten Wiki. Alright, the screen fades to black. Do they play? I believe in you, game. No. Now the game is frozen. Such is the end of the run always. Almost always. But yeah, this is where the credits would go. But that didn't happen now. Oh, whoops. So yeah. That is Aigis' first mission. You can go and get it on Steam right now if you want it yourself. Shoutouts to Gmode for making the effort of making these old games available again. Doing some good preservation work right there. But anyway, I think that is it for me. So I thank you for watching and I hope you tune back for the Kiyuyaku Megami Tensei race that I will be taking part of. So see you then. Thank you, bye.